Okay guys, welcome back. And I'm a little out of sorts today. I don't know format wise I'm not like I used to be. I'm just a little bit out. Now the thing I wanted to talk about today, oh here's Mr. X. Yeah, come over here. He's just hopped off the tractor. I just did a couple of videos and told the guys about what we were talking about and what you've introduced into your golf swing, and how well you were hitting it and how your swing looks so different. So you just elaborate a little bit on what you're doing relative to the pivot now, and it'll be interesting to see your explanation of it relative to what the explanation I've given and what we talked about. So you just tell the guys what you feel you're doing now, okay, compared to what you used to do.
I've got the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just talk up. Yeah.
Okay. In my swing at the moment, I've been watching a couple of things on YouTube, and it's sort of made me think a little bit as to the backswing, because I always suffered from movement. Yeah. Onto my right side and then back onto the left side.
Outside loading of
the right foot. And now I'm currently got a new aspect, a new look at how to get to the top of the backswing by feeling like I'm actually tipping myself to the left. That it's just a feeling, and like as if the water's going to come out of my left ear. I want to feel like my left ear is down to the ground. That's improved my stability. It's stopped me from moving to the right, and then of course you've got to make the opposite move to the left to get back to where you start again. With regards to the downswing, it's more almost the reverse of what I do on the backswing. So the downswing is more of the right side straight down to my right foot. When
you say the right side, you're talking about point of the right shoulder?
Point of the right shoulder feels as a feeling towards my right toe.
Yeah.
As a result, this pushes your left side forward and gets you onto your correct side. And in doing so, you're not spinning out. You're not doing the shoulder spin.
When you're getting secondary tilt, you're jamming down. As that right shoulder goes down, it gets the secondary tilt, the bow here, and the head back, and the lead shoulder moving up. Completely the opposite of the forward pivot. When the left shoulder, when you talk about your left shoulder going left,
yes,
what we were talking about is that the left shoulder moving outwards,
yes,
rather than it's not going over here, guys.
No.
It's going there. It's tangential. It feels like it's going in front of the ball, doesn't it?
It feels like you're doing this.
Yeah.
Essentially, but it's not.
Yeah, but this shoulder's going that way.
Yes.
Isn't
it? It feels like I'm tipping over.
Yeah, there you go.
This way.
There you go. Now, if you look at that, guys, his shoulder's pointing there, outside the ball. It's not, and he's not loading there. He's loading. Yeah, he's loading this way.
I'm not going this way.
No.
I feel like I'm tipping over to the left.
Yep. Well, that's what it looks like. And because I haven't seen Mr. X for months, and I haven't seen him hit balls for probably 6 or 7 months, and he hit a couple of shots when he was on the tractor here a while ago, before I started the videos, and it was just super strong, just absolutely killed it. And as I say, I wouldn't have recognised his swing had I seen it from a distance. So the downswing.
The downswing, in my opinion, is I've always been a puller.
Yeah.
Pulling.
Yeah, you've always been really late.
Pulling and create this huge amount of
lag,
yeah. Like I'm almost 120 degrees.
Yeah.
And that plays on your mind, because eventually you've got to let it go.
Oh, that's right. You've got to release the club back to the ball.
You've got a space here to let it go.
Yeah.
So you let it go too early, you let it go too late.
Yeah.
The result, right, left.
Yeah. Which has been yours was very much military golf, wasn't it?
Golf courses are never wide enough for me.
Yeah, military golf, left, right, left, right.
As we knew down at McLean that day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we played a game of golf at a club that I was a member of, and Mr. X hit a drive there one day into a place that I'd never seen before.
It was a different postcode.
Yeah, I just didn't believe that you could actually hit one that far left, but he did. And so, but then he would go from there and just hit a blitz one, a couple of those, and then one here. But he's always had the ability to hit a shot, but not consistently.
Not consistent. Yeah. So this what I'm doing currently is just a balance. I'm just basically letting my body balance. I don't feel like I'm picking the club up. I don't feel like I'm dropping the club back down.
Yeah.
It's just a balance point. Left shoulder to the ground in front of me. Right shoulder to the ground but behind me.
And the hands for you are totally passive, and they're just holding onto the club.
Yep. Maintaining the Y position that we all talk about, this Y.
And upper forearm pressure on the chest.
And forearms, my elbows feel like they're on my chest.
Yeah.
As a feeling.
Yeah.
But it's actually more the upper arms.
Yeah.
And then I don't try to lift the club. I just turn my left shoulder down to the ground.
Okay, look at this, guys. Look, his right leg is completely flexed. In his golf swing, he gets this in a little bit more this way. Can you just turn around and do that pivot so we can see the back of you?
That's great.
Now, guys, you know what I was telling you about how Hogan looked like, and there you go. See that? Now, it looks, for the uninitiated, it looks like he's going left, but he's not. He's staying in position. He's just turning the lead knee and the pelvis forward, which takes him in that direction there and pulls the trail side back. That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening, isn't it?
Yes.
But the thing I noticed in the shots that you hit, because you've always been very handsy and always tried to hit it with your hands, you've got no hands in the shots at all.
And I'm not trying to square up the club. Everybody has it in their mind, I've got to square the club up.
Yeah. No, you haven't got any of that.
If you do the essentials on the backswing and the follow through, you don't need to square the club up.
No. Well, it'll just be a natural rotation of the radius and ulnar bones just coming in normally as they get past the centre of the body and squaring up.
And it's just not a conscious thought. It happens.
Yeah, well,
it's a result.
Yeah, and we saw that with Sneed. We saw it with Mo Norman, and we saw it with Hogan. Even though Hogan said he hit very hard with his right hand, he didn't look like that.
No.
And Mac O'Grady never looks like that.
No.
Mac O'Grady is exactly as we're talking about. Now, I just want you to see swing, because I'll just move that camera around a bit. Now, guy, big ask. He's just been out on the course doing all the work and all the mowing and all the greenkeeping stuff, and he's just come up here, hopped off the tractor. I'm just going to ask him to hit a couple of shots. I just want you to see the difference in his swing. You know what his old swing looked like, and you know what his old tempo was like. See, I just like the tempo. There doesn't seem like there's any.
I don't have the anxiousness that I had in previous.
There's no hit impulse, is there?
No, I don't feel like I've got to get back to the ball.
Yeah. So that means that the body's trailing the hands into the ball. The body's moving and it's just trailing the hands.
Some people call it a float load, but I don't think it is quite a float load. It's just
well, a float load is just that type of set where you take it up and you just float it up and you set it.
I get a pressure feeling on the way down. I get a pressure feeling in my bicep and my forearm.
Okay.
Because my shoulder's going, my forearm is staying back. It feels like that. That's just a feeling that I get. And once I have that feeling, I know I'm can't pull the club back.
Now, the only thing that I would, not that I want to change anything, but the only thing, because of your height and your long legs, the only thing I would say to just add to this is just widen your stance a little bit.
Okay.
Because if you widen your stance a little bit, you'll bring this side more into balance in terms of the centre.
Yes.
If you get it here, it'll tend to be loading a little right, but if you get it here, there'll be more propensity to have a little bit of loading there when we take it back.
Okay.
And I'm only talking, small amount, not much.
We'll see what happens.
But the tempo is fantastic. Yeah, that's just absolutely powdered. It just looks like, to me, that it's a practice swing and the ball's getting in the way.
I'm not conscious of the ball anymore. I used to be conscious of the
No.
ball's there, I've got to hit it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can really, really see that.
Because when you're trying to target the golf ball, you've got all this anxiety that, you've got to make it go here.
Everyone thinks that the ball comes out of the hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It comes off the club face.
Okay, I've got time for one more.
All right.
See what happens.
Well, I've seen you hit a lot of balls over the years, but I've never seen you hit it as effortlessly and as powerfully as that, ever. And you must support that.
I do.
Yeah.
It's just, I wouldn't have told you about it if I didn't think it was worth talking about.
Well, I've always been a Hogan, Mo Norman, Sam Snead pivot person, and I've got videos where I show from behind how they look, and that's because they turn this way, guys. They turn that way. And when Mr. X today came up and said, well, my shoulder doesn't go this way, it goes that way. It goes that way as a feeling. Now, when you look at him, you'll still think it looks conventional, but his intention is very much tangential there. That's what he wants to actually feel like, that. And I tell you what, guys, that's a great way to have a centering of the pivot. You'll really have no trouble keeping your head in place. When you roll the shoulders and the backswing, the head will tend to go with it. But when you tangentially just pivot like that, his head goes nowhere. You'll notice that his head is not moving at all. So, well, that's fantastic, mate.
No worries.
All right, so it was just good that we could, he just came back up and we could get a chance to have a look at it.
All right, thanks,
So
Joe.
and I just said to the guys, going forward, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll find out when you've got some time, and we'll start to do a little bit of a series on the progression of this and what it's doing for you and what we think it can do for the other guys.
I've been a reasonably poor driver of the ball, but the last 2 weeks...
Yeah, tell me about those ones you hit.
The last 2 weeks since I've noticed this pivot, it's just straight line, string line straight.
Well, he hit a couple of drives here before, guys, before he went back to work, and they were dead into the wind out of your head, cross head, and they were probably the 3 best drives I've ever seen you hit, ever.
And it's a confidence thing.
Yeah,
When you know you can hit a ball straight, just through your technique,
Yeah.
there's no trouble right, there's no trouble left.
Well, that's exactly right. But what the knock-on effect, guys, is you see that he's got really nice tempo now on those shots that he hit, and that's because he's not using his hands. Now, when you get your hands active in the golf swing, the hand action input will be different every time, and the tempo will change accordingly every time. But his tempo is just exactly the same. It's very metronomic. So, all right. So if you can, I'll tic tac with you, and we'll work out maybe a Sunday afternoon or something. We'll start to do a little bit more in-depth stuff.
Where this comes into play too is you'll find with your short shots, little pitches, 60, 70, 80 yards, you just can't go wrong.
Well, passive hands.
Doesn't go left, doesn't go right.
Yeah. Well, and the bane of the handicap or the club golfer is that they always pull their short irons. That's because they apply their hands.
Or they get it released too quick.
Well, and stay back.
Yeah.
And they stay back because the pivot is basically like that.
Yep.
It's going the wrong way instead of there. See, if you get in this position, guys, it's very hard to go that way in the backswing. You've got to get out of that pivot this way.
Yes.
All right, we'll do something going forward. I'll let you know, and we'll work out a time that suits both of us.
No worries.
All right,
Thanks,
mate.
Gage.
Thanks for that. Don't forget your...
breakfast.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that was just a little interlude. That was good that Mr. X came along. Haven't seen him for ages, but he's...
Drinking some balls there.
Oh, good on you, mate, thanks. He just bought me a drink and some balls. Okay, guys, now I'll come back and I'll do another video. I want to talk about this internal rotation of the lead arm, which is quite a breakthrough, I think, for... Well, I've always done it to a degree, but not to the extent that I'm doing. But I'll come back and I'll talk about it.